Did your girl get her camera ready? Everybody just chiming on in. Chiming on in. Come on, come on in. Come on, come on in. It's your girl, your co-host, your birth and doula, your inspirational healer, and so much more. Cynthia J on the Cynthia J Show, holding us women accountable, not excluding the men. Holding us women accountable, not excluding the men. Y'all just hold on tight while I get my background drop over here ready and set for other areas. Hit that like button, subscribe, and share. Hit that like button, subscribe, and share. Yes. Happy Juneteenth to everyone who's chiming on in. Yes. What a amazing day. For those who see my background right up here on TikTok, and for those who are on my Restream Live and other social medias, trying to get itself corrected on my Restream Live, guys. But it's doing good on TikTok. How's everyone doing? Hit that like button, subscribe, and share, and make sure y'all send that. We got a couple of topics we're gonna be going over today. But as we doing that, let me go ahead and get this situated while I'm making sure I'm chiming on everybody else also in this live here. So let me get this together over here. Yes, yes, yes. Trying to make sure I get it together over here and take out the backdrop. Yes, there we go. So now let me get the background drop out of here. Do some readjustments here. There we go. Yes. Welcome to the Cynthia J Show, holding us women accountable, not excluding the men. For those who are new, and it's your first time meeting your girl, I am up here. I am Cynthia J, your birth and doula, your psalmist, your inspirational healer, your encourager, your sister from another dimension, and so much more. Welcome for chiming on in. Go ahead again, hit that like button, subscribe, and share. And if you're on YouTube, just in case we get disconnected on any other platforms like the Stream Live and TikTok or Facebook, you can follow me under Cynthia J22, Cynthia J22. But again, happy June 10th for everyone who's chiming on in. Yes. For those who do not know, Juneteenth is one of those amazing celebrations that is right here in the US. For those who follow me on my social media, who is international on the other side of the water. If you're not from, sorry about that, guys. Oh, wow. We fell down. That was strange. Especially to my brothers and sisters on TikTok. If y'all are unfamiliar with that, Juneteenth is a holiday we celebrate over here in the US, America, that is pertaining to FBA, standing for Foundational Black Americans. And the history behind that, for most majority of people that are unaware, is the time where brothers and sisters in Texas who really realized that after fighting a war against being slave, had finally won his freedom in the physical aspect to a certain degree. Definitely spiritually, yes, we won. But on the physical aspect, we are still living in a little bit of enslavement for those who are unaware of that. But the history behind it is very rich and deep. And for those who, again, are unfamiliar of it, it's a sign of freedom. It's a sign of knowing the liberation. But for those who see this right behind me, this is also one of the FBA flags. This Juneteenth was back in 1865. And that goes to show you how far our ancestors have come, why it's so important to make sure that we teach this to our children, teach them the history, and make sure that it's known, because this is things that they do not talk about in public schools. So it starts at home. It starts at the root. And you're going to get a lot of individuals that disagree with it. There are different colorations when it comes to June 10th. For those who see, most people that know June 10th to have the red and the black and the green, which is still some also the some people say yellow, mustard color. It's a signification that still connects to, also the motherland. But right here in America, it is grassrooted here. And the history behind that is very deep. Majority of people, when they hear the history about it, they tend to try to collaborate it with all ethnic background groups. But Juneteenth is a legacy. It is a history that is known, that was being done before it became a celebration nationally by our federal government. It was a day of independence, a day of freedom. It also shows the ending of the true slavery ending in the United States, and especially, from Black Americans, as y'all known as, and later on by those who changed the name and call it African American, but we're Black American grassroots from here. Shows the emancipation during the time, and got to give it out to brothers and sisters in Texas, who are the ones that started this amazing liberation, this reliance, and the ongoing struggle of equality, the ongoing struggle of justice, the freedom that we were definitely given. And until this day, we still are fighting for our freedom in a injustice system and place that we live in. Some people may beg to differ. That's okay. But for those who are grassroots and know the history behind the scenes here, will know we don't play when it comes to us. It also gives the declare that every enslaved person at that particular time was unaware of being free. Now, during that time when they found out, you already know the history behind that. Brothers and sisters made sure that they started putting them boots on the ground and putting them boots where the sun don't shine, and made sure they put hands upon hands on those who still wanted to hold on to slavery when it was already emancipated way before Abraham Lincoln also decided to make that known. But again, y'all heard me say it's a national holiday. And again, it gives us time to reflect and also move in a way where people will realize that it's more to life here than people know. We have a history here, a grassroots history, a history that is not just a history, but it's a legacy to keep continuing to go on. It's more than a memory being kept alive. It is the word that comes out of your mouth every day when you walk around, brothers and sisters, to let every other individual around you know you are the Juneteenth. You are the liberation. You are the resilience. You are the freedom. You are the celebration. And this is why it's so important that we don't get the month of June mixed up in all the other things that we should not get it mixed up into, that most do. They tend to put other holidays to try to overshadow or add other personal agendas behind Juneteenth instead of being what it's supposed to be, for us, by us, celebrated in a way that most would never even fabricate to even celebrate. So I salute all brothers and sisters in the month of Juneteenth, and I thank you guys for continuing it going on. But it shouldn't just be for this month. We should be celebrating independence every month, every second, every hour, every day as we're fighting. This is also a reminder, again, as y'all heard me say, to raise awareness to our children that they know that what it is. Again, this is a symbol of fighting for independence and fighting for what is right. Our ancestors did a marvelous job making sure that they fought for our freedom. They fought for the legacy that needed to be fight for, and so much more. So you guys make sure that y'all make it known that people realize that this is not a game when it comes to our legacy. It's not a game when it comes to us. Don't get so caught up in the camouflage of what they want you to believe. Don't get so caught up in them trying to detour you from the truth. From the truth. So with that being said, again, happy Juneteenth to all my brothers and sisters out there. I pray that everyone is having an amazing day. I manifest that your day is being a grateful and blissful day. But we got some other breaking news I want to get up on here. But this is season 3, episode 19. Season 3, episode 19. So today we're going to be talking about a situation. As y'all, actually, let me step back a little bit. Let me recap on a little bit of last week for those who wasn't up here last week. I'm recapping on the situation that pertained to what happened in Las Vegas as 2 podcasters who are a husband and wife that were shot right in Las Vegas by another podcaster. Again, for those who are unaware of it, that podcaster, Sinister, had turned himself in. which was necessary because there was a live video. So if you guys haven't got a chance to get up there and look at that live video, for those who are on TikTok, Restream Live, and any other platforms, make sure y'all go up on there and definitely check out that video of this individual, other podcaster, who definitely could not balance like the emotions. And it's so much going on with people and their emotions. Like, I don't know if it's coming from the V when people during the pandemic, or if it's just the social of it because of social media and what it's doing. But I definitely would tell you, social media has really put a damper on some people who are spiritually, physically, and emotionally going to some unbalance. And that could be why you catch it. For those who are unaware, if you ever notice that when you go to the doctor will have a list to have you every physical to fill out to see if you have any emotional unstable things going on within yourself, because that tends to be the thing that's out here now. I know when I go, I see that, and they ask you, are you feeling angry? Are you feeling depressed? Are you feeling this? Are you feeling that? Hey, love, auntie, see you, and all these other kind of things. So it's a lot going on. But on other news, we're going to be dealing with a topic of a family that demands answers after a father, for those who are in the DMV area in the East Coast who do follow, was shot by the U.S. Marshal in D.C. I don't know for you guys if you heard about it, but there is a father who was shot in D.C. by the U.S. Marshals, and their family demands, we should also demand, and you guys again could look this up on social media, demand to know why. Demand to know why. I'm going to go ahead and read this article. This article right here is coming from ABC 7 News on your side. This happened on June 17th. This article was published. The article was published on June 18th, and the situation happened on June 17th. So that was this week, guys. This was a father of two, a brother, for those who can see. And this goes to show why it's so important. I know it's a little shiny for those who up here, but it's why it's so important that we know what's going on. So I'm going to read this article. A 40-year-old man was shot and killed by the U.S. Marshal Service deputy last Thursday. And 7 News has learned that his family has hired an independent firm to conduct its own internal investigation. The victim family told News that the father of two, the father's name is Marco Mosley, was shot in the head on Thursday. This happened in Washington, D.C., in the Capitol, within the Capitol, guys. And 5 days later, they tell 7 News that's all they know. That's all they know. There was no explanation given. You will notice if you go up here and look at that article and play it, you will hear the family talking. It was also said that after the shooting, Robert Anthony Dixon, the 5th U.S. Marshal for the United States, said that the U.S. Marshal who shot Mosley was a senior deputy. Y'all hear that? A senior deputy. Dixon said that the deputy perceived a threat. Did y'all hear this? Perceived. Let's repeat that again. Perceived a threat. That should tell you something right there. But would not state what the alleged threat was. This is why the family does not know. Now, U.S. Marshal, for those who are aware, is supposed to be next, the next top notch. Supposed to be. Y'all hear that? Anywho, the marshal was on duty, unwounded at the time of the shooting. He would not say if the weapon was found on Mosley. Again, they would not say if a weapon was found. This is what the article is stating. Dixon also would not say what the deputy encountered with Mosley. The interaction was unrelated to, they said, the fugitive task force, according to Dixon. 7 News is presenting officials to find out what led up to this shooting, which happened right next to the convention center. For those who've been in Washington, D.C. and near the convention center, you would know that is something very surprising to even be hearing right now, and very alarming, wherein you are in public, traveling with your family and friends, and trying to figure out what in the world is going on. With that being said, again, let me continue. There is a copy of the footage that has been obtained following the shooting. It shows Mosley lying on the ground after the shooting, which for those who know, in that area, especially near the convention center, there are cameras. Even if you're anywhere near any part of any government facility as well, there are cameras. DC is very heavy with cameras. So there should be no excuse why they should not be able to see how everything had occurred and what provoked the situation as well. Also, it stated nearby law enforcement did not provide first aid. I repeat, let me repeat that again. It shows Mosley lying on the ground after the shooting, and nearby law enforcement did not provide first assistance to his right away. Do you brothers and sisters hear that? There was no assistance provided for our dear brother who was shot. At the same time, they could not provide any information that led to why the shooting. They just said perceived. Do you hear that word? I repeat, perceived. That should tell you something right there. For those who are just chiming on here in, hit that like button, subscribe, and share, and go on your sister's YouTube channel under the Cynthia J22. Subscribe, hit that follow button, hit that like button. I definitely, truly appreciate, love you for doing so. Again, right here it also states people heard screaming at officers to help him. Heard screaming. When you watch the video, brothers and sisters out there across the nation, across the waters, this is the type of stuff that's going on. People are receiving these uniforms, and it's the character behind the uniforms, how they perceive things. Let me continue. The video also appears to show Mosley initially in a vehicle. You have that right. I have a comment here. It's open season on us, hunting us down with no consequences. Ooh, let me repeat that again. It's coming from a sister on my stream live. She's on YouTube stating it is open season on us, hunting us down with no consequences. Do y'all hear this, brothers and sisters? This is true. No matter how much we go out here, as I was seeing other brothers and sisters posting up here yesterday, go vote, do this. You can do all the voting you want. But what is that voting going to do for you when you're out on the highway, on the side of the public street, going grocery shopping and so forth, like myself, pulling up near your own front of your house, home, in your own neighborhood, public street, right next to your own residence. And then you are being questioned. Do you live at this residence? And you give them the specific address and everything. And they still want to ask for your ID and want to make you seem like you are a criminal. All because they heard a robbery or theft in the area and you're just finding out. Yet they see you with a whole bunch of groceries from the name of the grocery store and food in your bag. So exactly right. Do not think that you will not be targeted. I used to have that type of mindset. Oh, as long as I do what I'm supposed to do, I won't be seen, or they're not going to bother me, or favor. And let me share something with you. As our dear sister sit here and said and type, it is open season. It's been open season for the longest time. Let's continue. The perception was there was a threat. Again, this is what is being said. And he responded accordingly, said Anthony Dixon of the U.S. Marshal about the deputy who shot Mosley. The Marshal also stated, we do know that the United States Marshal again perceived a threat during which gunfire was exchanged. Okay, did y'all hear this? Let me repeat. Listen to the words very carefully. This is why we need to dissect articles and know the true meaning behind certain things that were said. We do know that the United States Marshal perceived a threat during which gunfire was exchanged. Gunfire was exchanged. Do we hear that? I repeat, gunfire exchanged. So it also states that they would not answer when asked what the alleged threat was again, or if Mosley had a weapon, and no answers on why the deputy was in the area of what led up to the shooting. No answers. None whatsoever. None. No answers. So what does that tell you? There should be an answer. There should be an answer. Let me take a little sip of my drink tonic here, guys. Y'all can see the stuff at the bottom. My honey bun, my love of my life. Make sure I have my tonic tea with my clove. For those who don't know, make sure y'all making y'all tonics and taking real good care of yourself this summer. We'll talk about that at the end of the podcast. But anyway, again, it states he's the senior of the United States deputy. As y'all notice in this article, it's being repeated again and again about this individual, U.S. Marshal deputy. And then it states, I'm not going to say, and this is what the other person says, the head, after he said the senior United States deputy, and beyond that, I'm not going to say anything that is not really relevant, I don't think. Keyword, I don't think. Hit some hearts out there for y'all. Send out some hearts and some love to your sister right now. Chime, chime, chime. Come on now. That tells you right here, when people use the word, I don't think, to me, that means they don't know and they're unaware. That word think. I've always been a person on hearing the word think. I don't never like it. So after Mosley, our dear brother did ascend. He passed away. He passed away. The U.S. Marshal refused to answer any questions. 7 News reached out to the U.S. Marshal MPD again on Tuesday, 5 days after the shooting. Both agencies said it was up to the other to answer. Do y'all hear that? Both agencies, the U.S. Marshal and MPD, on Tuesday, 5 days after the shooting, says both agencies had said it was up to the other to answer. They're hiding something. They're hiding. They know the answer. They just don't want to admit it. They know the answer. So the MPD is the lead for the officer involved in the shooting, but we're also the lead on any other criminal investigations associated with this shooting. This is one of the officers named Smith said. Since determining what is that case will go over U.S. Attorney's Office. So this is going to go to U.S. Attorney's Office. That's what it's being turned over, which is supposed to be, you would know, for some who know and some who's unaware. It has to, because it involved the U.S. Marshal. And it also states, as all cases do, decide if they decline the case or accept it. A brother in Washington, D.C. Let me repeat this again. A brother in Washington, D.C. just a few days ago was unalived in Washington, D.C. And they're saying here, it is up to the U.S. Attorney Office to decide if they decline the case or accept it. You got to be kidding me. We need each and every area to accept it. This should not go down, pushed to the side, ignored, without a fight. How much more do we need to continue to go through stuff like this? How much more suffering? Okay, you're going to say, Cynthia J, hold on. I thought this was a podcast about, inspirational healing and ministry. It is. I am here to encourage you, to uplift you, to push you and I. That's what we supposed to do for each other. I need you. You need me. We are out here struggling, just to survive with our families, our loved ones. And this is what we endure. And you got the nerve to tell us it's up to them. And people, I always tell people this, they always say, take it with the law. But do you not know the system with the individuals behind these authority cloaks that they carry? These titles that they carry? They just look at a life, especially a brother, as if it's just another one gone. You know how you see people when they drive and they hit a deer or something? Oh, it's just a deer. Push it to the side. But every day, you don't realize, brothers and sisters, that your melanin is needed. Every day, a brother or sister is unalived. Your melanin. Let me repeat that. Your melanin is needed. And if you don't believe it, look it up. And it ain't always Google that's going to tell you the truth. Because they hide things in there that they want to cover up. You need to follow brothers and elders like Elder Kaba and others who are aware of the truth. Let's continue. Then 7 News learned that the deputy was not wounded. He was on duty at the time of the shooting. Researching this story, we did find a past criminal history of Mosley. Okay, our brother had a past criminal history. He could have had a past criminal history from a teenager to a young adult. Something he might have got caught up in, had a moment. That could have been anything. A past criminal history. That's why it said past. It didn't say current. It didn't say past and current. It said past. For those who just chiming on in, I'm your girl, your co-host, Cynthia J on the Cynthia J Show, holding us women accountable, not excluding the men, your birthing doula, your inspirational healer, your psalmist, your spiritual healer, and so much more. But again, let's continue. So then it says, but the U.S. Marshal Service said they were not searching or serving a warrant at the time of the shooting. So why did the deputy approach is still a major question. This is why the family demands answer after the father of 2 was unalived. Demands answers. They also received this last statement from the Cochran firm. Yeah, that's how far. Cochran firm. Yeah. Let me repeat that. Cochran firm. Cochran firm has been retained to represent Mosley's family, and we are conducting an independent investigation into his shooting death by the U.S. Marshal on June 12th. We are in preliminary stages of the investigation, but all indications are that this was an unnecessary, unjustified shooting and senseless loss of a life. That's what was stated. And this is what was stated by the U.S. Marshal. For those who are just chiming on in, again, welcome. Hit that like button, subscribe, and share to those who are my TikTok followers. Those who are also up here just chiming on in, sending some love out there to y'all. Hit that like button, send out some hearts. If you like to follow, you can follow me on YouTube, where it is definitely concrete, at Cynthia J22. At Cynthia J22. But here it says, on Wednesday, the U.S. Marshal Office gave this statement and said, the U.S. Marshal Service does not comment on open investigations. The investigating agency, in this case, MPD, may provide updates during or after the investigation has concluded. This is Typical protocol for officer involved shooting. What is your thoughts? What do you have to say for this, brothers and sisters? On this day of Juneteenth, remembering our freedom, but yet we still being unalive for certain things that has no probable cause. Share your thoughts. Think on this. Share this with your family and friends. Share this because it's not just happening in the DMV area. It's happening across the nations. It's happening in your backyard, in your neighborhood. Little do you know, behind closed doors every single day. Every single day. Let's send out and manifesting prayer to our brothers and sisters who lost loved ones over some injustice that has been just thrown under the rug, been ignored, been dismissed from every decade, every generation. Come on now. Why do we have to continue to go through this, Makes you wonder. Makes you wonder. Why do we have to continue to go over something like this? But with some other things being said and done, it bothers me. I don't know if it bothers you or not, but it bothers me. It has me to think more and more, to be concerned about our children. And why? Because they're going to grow up. Our young boys and our young women are going to grow up to be men and women in a society, and it's going to get even worse for them. They're a generation that is going to get worse for them. And it's going to get worse because they don't have the right elders. The elders of this time, whoever these ones that's calling themselves elders, are not properly preparing their children. It's not what it used to be. And the ones that are out here calling themselves elders, some of them kind of scare me. Because you would believe that I would be the one looking up to some of them. The stuff that I am seeing that's being presented, especially to the young women out here, it's not giving wisdom in a way where you're walking in elegance for young women. As young men, you're walking in your stand of manhood, where when you walk in the room, your presence is being recognized. You don't even have to say a word. But that's what it's doing. That's what it's doing. So on this last thing, and then I'm not going to hold you guys up, but this is another thing that popped up a day ago that blew my mind. And though, being a person, an individual of faith and spirituality, there's some things I just don't roll with. And I've always in my spirit as a kid used to question things a lot. I used to ask questions to those who were pastors and so forth in different places. And I've been to and with friends of different genres to these different places. And some things I look and I just shake my head like, oh no, thanks for the invite. But I learned not to be invited at everything anymore. Some places you shouldn't be tapping in, but it's good to at a certain particular time so you actually know and see what's going on, so that you be aware. But this has to deal with a situation that is it's gonna blow your mind. It's been as many as 796 unalive babies found hidden in a septic tank at a former Catholic maternity home. Did you hear that? Let me repeat that. Hit that like button, subscribe, and share. Let me know you heard what I just said. Please. Let's try this again. Let me read this one more time. As many as 796 babies' bodies found hidden in a septic tank at a former Catholic maternity home. What in the Christ me, Kimmy, is going on? What is going on? What is going on, brothers and sisters? Did you hear that? This is coming from the Calf Moms article. And this was a day ago. It is stated, and this is a county Galway, and this is in Ireland. Ireland, guys. Ireland. So this can happen in Ireland. What makes you think stuff like this ain't happening here in America? If this happened in Ireland, what makes you think that things don't happen like this in America? We just had some issues with people with funeral homes. For those who aren't aware of that, funeral homes. Some funeral homes are not doing what they're supposed to be doing that families are paying for them to do. And some funeral homes are being and doing undercut stuff. Yeah. So let's continue. And I ain't going to keep you too long. But here it says, a digging had begun up the site of a former bond-secure mother and baby home. Catholic nuns ran the facility back around 1961. Y'all heard. Sadly, many now believe that the site holds a decade-old secret. A lot of these places hold secrets. That is why it's very important that you are aware of some of these places. Like I was telling a spiritual niece of mine a long time ago, and another spiritual nephew of mine, and they wanted to go to Johns Hopkins University. Yes. Who knows the history of Johns Hopkins? Who knows the history of Johns Hopkins? I repeat, who knows the history of Johns Hopkins University? Who knows the story of Henrietta Lack? I repeat, who knows the story of Henrietta Lack? Look this up. And so it is stated that many now believe that this secret has been hidden for so long, but from 1925 to the end of its run, 700, they said 796, but here it says 798 infants, children had passed at the facility dubbed the home, whereby locals, and shocking, only 2 received proper burials. 2 received proper burials. Then it goes to state that the local historian of the Catherine Corliss believes that the site has a much more sinister past that she hopes to quite lyrically unearth. That should tell you something. And this place in Corliss has spent countless hours researching this area, a place for unwed mothers back then. And in 2014, she discovered the babies were missing. That's how it started. The babies were missing. Something like that was similar here. I had to look that article up, but something was similar to that. That's how back in the day too, people used to do when people used to abort, when they didn't desire to have their unborn, they would do stuff like that. And those who would dismantle these spiritual beings, they turned around and would do stuff like that. Yeah. Something sinister like that, but burying them and putting them in septic tanks and wells and all kinds of crazy stuff. So then it goes here to discover that the babies were missing. Sky News reported, and Corliss hopes to dig. And this individual named Daniel Rex Sweetney will bring closure to the families of women and infants who lived at the home. Now, this question goes here. Some of these people are not here on this earth no more. Some of these people done passed on and moved to the other side. So I don't know how many of these individuals that are still here on this earth in the living realm. Hopefully there are still some that are in their right mind, because this goes back very far back. They said 1925 starting. So you don't know when, where, what, and how. Anyway, last but not least, they discovered the babies were missing, as it stated, and DNA evidence revealed the ages of the unalive ranged from 35 weeks. Wow. 35 weeks gestation to 3 years old. Wow. Are we hearing this? Wow. Woo. I don't even know what to say. My mind is just went blank. But I'm gonna tell you what this individual said. I'm feeling very relieved. Cordless told Sky News, it's been a long time and a long journey not knowing what's going to happen. If it's just going to fall apart or if it's really going to happen. So basically, she is saying that she's been digging the history behind this and trying to find out the truth for the longest because they were trying to hide it. So they said that many of the children remains ended up dumped in a former sewage tank referred as the pit. Now the crew are working to identify each part of the DNA and testing, and ultimately hopes to give all deceased a proper burial. You know, that kind of goes the same with those from history. If you go back to slavery, things like this tend to occur a lot. And it's going to show you how individuals used to do crazy things. What was on their minds? Why would they do something like this? But it also goes to say that she's happy that they are still on track to begin the excavations of the site. Excavation of the site in June, and they did half of it already, and it's still moving forward. They said it took approximately, in some places, metering, hoarding, and it put it about 24 hours security monitoring so that nobody would go back behind them and try to discard anything. But again, it states that the dig gives hope to the people who went through this. She said her mother, Margaret, gave birth to a baby girl in the home back in the 1942 following a AR. I have to say certain things a certain way because you know TikTok be ready to hit click on stuff. Following an R at the age of 17. And it states that the tragic story with the Sky News about her mother time is a dark past and a history. So that goes to show you things like this, guys. It's not a joke to play with. Um, you got to be careful. Again, it's sad. I'm just out of words, guys. It just hit me. But for those who can definitely see, let me see if I can get this light. You can see here the article a little bit for those trying to show y'all. And that's kind of hard to show. Do it this way. TikTok, as y'all can see here, it's a sad situation. I mean, this is just sad. But again, for those who are out there, this is why it's so important to my sisters, to women out there, to men out there. Be careful. Be careful what's going on out here. Everything that's going on out here, it is starting to cause a ripple effect. They say, you know, fate has a way of returning back to you. Universe has a way of returning back to you and all other kind of things. So yeah, but last but not least, y'all go up on the earth.com, look up some article by Mr. Eric Wells. There he is stating that the Y chromosome is disappearing, a fact that is already causing problems for men. Yes, that's probably why there's been more baby girls born in the last few years. The goddesses are coming back. The goddesses. So all my goddesses out there, we coming back strong. Coming back strong. That the feminine nurture energy, not the feminist energy that they be putting out there. That feminine, that feminine. Y'all hear? That's what they saying. The X here said 2X chromosome means girl, X and pair with the Y means boy, but that's much smaller. Y chromosome carries the stray of the gene, which is the switch for the testes. But yeah, they saying that it's doing some tricky things now. So whatever's going on, it could be what's going on in the food. Food different now. Got a lot more estrogen and all this stuff, especially if you up here eating all this processed. And I'm not just talking about me because I'm guilty too, guys. I'm guilty too. I'm guilty too. But if my brothers are out here consuming meats from grocery stores that you did not get from the butcher yourself, and then the butcher, you got to make sure, even if you go to the butcher, you got to make sure that the butcher is also out here making sure that he is getting it from a natural farm. For real, for a natural farm. So, brothers and sisters, make sure that your stuff is, if you're going to get it from a natural farm, you're going to eat meat, be careful. If you're going to go to a farm that's out here, make sure that no pesticides, no hormones, none of these things, any altered stuff that's in the DEA and DNA of these things, it's scary. So if my brothers, if the men out here starting to lose their Y chromosome, that should tell you something. We need our Y chromosomes. Anybody said tell you they don't need them, they wrong. We need that balance. We need that yin and that yang. We need that. We need that sun and that moon. We need that. It is necessary. But I'm not going to hold you guys up because it's June 10th. And again, for those who see this behind me, let me go ahead and break it down to you. What this means. What this means. Yes, let me break it down to you. For those who see the blue, let me go back up here on my Restream Live and pull it up because some of my brothers and sisters can't see it up here. So hold on, brothers and sisters on TikTok. Let me get this together here. For those, y'all going to see my face blot out for a minute. For those who will be on Restream Live, let me show you what this is here so that y'all can see it. Let me chop this out here real quick. Hold on tight. Uh-oh. I want to do that. So I want to move that out the way. Go back here. Let me chime this in so y'all can see it. Let me pull this up, go this way. Matter of fact, let me do this. Y'all gonna see my video go out for a minute on Restream. See if I can get this to pull up so y'all can see it. So bear with your sister here. There we go. And then I'm also going to go ahead and move this out of the way here. So hold on to those who are on Restream Live so y'all can see the whole lineup of the FBA sign, but representing for Juneteenth. These colors are still American colors. Other colors is you see us with our brothers and sisters, especially with the Pan-Africanism and all that stuff. But this is what we're going to show you about here in America. And I got to give credit to brothers and sisters out there, especially those who do know about Tariq Nasheed and sisters like Vicky Dillard, NYC Girl, all of them that's out there. But let me go over this. So with that being said, the blue that you see that's in the background right here, the colors, the red and the white and the blue represent the American flag. A reminder that slaves and their descendants were and are Americans. Y'all hear? Were and are Americans. You will also see where the arch area, right behind me. If you're on Restream Live, you see this arch area. If you're on TikTok Live, you see this arch area. The red arch area, you see that. It's the curve that extends across the width of the flag, representing the horizon, the opportunity, the promise. Y'all hear that? The promise. Yes, the opportunity and the promises that lay ahead for Black Americans. As you see the star that's right here in the middle, the star, the white star is the center that represents both Texas, the Lone Star State, as well as the freedom of African/Black Americans in all 50 states. Y'all hear that? And you will also see the bust. See all that, the little edges, the bust area. The bursting outline around the star is inspired by the nova, a term of the astronomers used to mean a new star. This represents new beginning for Black Americans. And then you see the date. We got to get there, the date. The date marks the day that enslaved Africans and Black Americans in the Galveston, Texas, learned of their freedom when the Union troops arrived to announce the Emancipation Proclamation. So I salute to the brothers and sisters and the descendants and the ancestors who paved the way for us right here in the grassroots area of America. I salute you for paving the way for us. I thank you for paving the way for us and allowing us to continue not only a legacy, not only our history, but to continue a evidence and a monumental stand, move, march, and a voice that will be heard and cannot be reckoned with. So, to all my brothers and sisters out there, happy Juneteenth. Happy Juneteenth. Enjoy y'all night. Stay blessed. Stay loving. If y'all like to